Hello and welcome to this video here. Talking to you about some issues, but we're at Sago Park. I already did my hike at Edgewood today. I wanted to go to Fire Island, but the trains really they cutting them back to once an hour at Ronkonkoma, and it's once an hour on the Babylon branch. It literally, I would have to get up so early to get to Fire Island. It would be ridiculous. So they really made it hard for me. So unfortunately, I couldn't go there today. I'm hoping maybe during the week, we can get there. But the fact that they're doing the Ronkonkoma line and the Babylon line, cutting service on both of those at the same time, is absolutely ridiculous. And the message from the MTA seems to be just get in your car and drive this weekend. Because unfortunately I don't have a car, so that's not an option for me. So anyway, yeah, we got some of these annoying clouds that have popped up right over us. I think it's a sea breeze front. You can see right there. We're going to talk about some things regarding this country here in this video. So I might as well see if we can find a quiet spot over here to do it. The wind over here is from the north, but I think we have a convergence zone. So we have a convergence zone over Long Island because if you're on the South Shore, the wind's probably from the southeast. Really wanted to get to Fire Island today. I haven't been there all summer, but like I said, I would have. Literally, the way they changed, the way they did the schedules, they literally the train that gets out, it literally misses the bus that would take me south by like 5 or 10 minutes. So, and I'd have to really would have been quicker to backtrack through Jamaica. Then I have to backtrack through Jamaica, ride right past my station again because the Montauk trains are going down the main line, but they're not stopping to accommodate people again. So, yeah, so we have a lot of pines here to look at. I'm hoping the sun will come back out again. But while these clouds are around, let's talk about some of these issues that are going on. To talk about the state of our country once again. The fact that we are living in a fascist dictatorship now. This is no longer a democracy. Why do I say that? It is because those who are speaking up against Trump are getting silenced. And the latest was ABC, who I've criticized in the past for, doing a lousy job with news on Channel 7. Well, they pulled Jimmy Kimmel from the air. I mean, at least CBS kind of, with the whole thing with Stephen Colbert, they are discontinuing the show, but they didn't just yank him off. ABC just yanked him off. Why? Because he made a comment about the death of Charlie Kirk. And let me just say, first of all, that what I'm about to say may upset a lot of you, all right? Especially those of you who are Trumpers. But anyway, here it goes. So let me get just this little branch out of the way here. So here it goes. All right. The death of Charlie Kirk was horrible. All right. I'm against violence of any kind, political violence on either side. All right. But they're painting Charlie Kirk to be this kind of hero. All right. And you're seeing these vigils all across the country. But he supported everything Trump said. He was homophobic. He was racist. He was not somebody who had your best interest as an American at heart, right? Now, obviously, he never should have been harmed. The same thing goes for the CEO of United Health, and the same thing goes for the Melissa Horton, the Minnesota state representative that was murdered, and her husband. It's funny how nobody had vigils for them. It's funny how it was barely covered in the media, covered a little bit, but not nearly as much as this, right? And also, what about the person who was standing next to Trump when there was an attempted assassination of Donald Trump last year, and that person got killed? What about him? Nobody has vigils for him. No, but Charlie Kirk, oh, they're going to have vigils for him. I'm sorry, but he is not somebody who I think is a good influence. He supported fascism. He supported the racism that Trump. This is actually a dead tree, I think, so I can just break the branch off. It's fine. But he supported It's not a pine over here. It's some kind of oak or something. But he supported racism. He made homophobic comments. All right. So Charlie Kirk is no hero. All right. And that is the truth, at least my opinion of the truth. When you look at the way he stood on a lot of stuff. But of course, I know I'm about to possibly get in trouble with Trump for saying that, because you're not allowed to say that now. And Jimmy Kimmel didn't even go that as far as I did. He just basically talked about how the assumption was made by Trump. Oh, there, it just moved a little bit. That's because the phone vibrated a little bit. Should really shut that thing off. But the assumption was made by Trump that the person who murdered Charlie Kirk was a liberal, was a Democrat. That was an assumption, all right? And Trump acts like MAGA people are peaceful. Trump acts like they're peaceful, that they never commit violence. What about the person who tried to shoot Trump and killed that other man instead? He was a Republican. He was MAGA. All right. What about the people who killed who killed that Minnesota state representative and an attempted also assassination of a Minnesota state senator? They were both Democrats. All right. The person who was involved in that, also MAGA. All right. What about the insurrection on January 6th? Oh, that was MAGA too, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. It was MAGA. All right. That was very violent. All right. That was MAGA. So I don't want to hear about how only one side is committing the violence when it's coming from both sides. And really, when you look at the violence, more of it is coming from MAGA. But they're doing this so they can use that excuse to take away our freedoms to speak. And that's what's going on in this country right now. And there are even Republicans, even Tucker Carlson, even Ted Cruz is speaking up that this FCC is abusing their power now. There's anyone who criticizes Trump he said it right out of his mouth that anyone who criticizes him is going to get yanked off the air by the FCC. This is not the story. I mean, we're no longer living in a democracy, because in a democracy, we have freedom of the press. We have free speech. We don't have that right now. And ABC just gave into that. Shame on you, ABC. You call yourself the American Broadcasting Company. Well, you're certainly not representing America anymore. That's for sure. And I would suggest that if you have ABC, any subscriptions to ABC, if you have any plans to go to Disney, which owns ABC, boycott them. You got to hit them where it hurts. Disney, especially Disney. Stop going to Disney World. If you have plans to go to Disney World, cancel them. All right? There's no reason to support a company that supports fascism. And Disney supports fascism. CBS also back now. They support fascism. And any company that supports fascism, we should not support. And I know I'm no longer watching Eyewitness News. I stopped, actually, before this even happened, I stopped. Because I got fed up with ABC and their antics. It's all bubblegum. It's not real news. They're constantly talking entertainment. It seems like more and more they're just gearing to snobs, and I don't want to watch them anymore. If you want to watch local news in New York City, I suggest you tune in WNBC. NBC, luckily, has not given in to Trump. All right? So, hopefully they won't. But two major networks have given in to Trump. All right? And this is a very, very big concern for our country, because once we lose freedom of the press, Trump will just keep getting more and more power. And his critics, they'll be silenced. They first start with the TV stations, and then they go to YouTube, and then they're going to start taking down channels. Google's going to, he's going to start threatening Google, and their YouTube is going to start taking down any channels that criticize Trump. It's not going to end unless we put an end to it. We have to do that by demanding our Congress now remove this president from power. I mean, I don't know how many times we've got to say this, but Trump is breaking the Constitution again, and every time he breaks it, it's worse. So Congress, you need to get your ass in gear, vote to impeach and remove this president, put him behind bars where he belongs, all right? Um, that is where he belongs, behind bars. All right, that's it. And I don't believe in any violence, but the violence that's occurring right now, Kimmel was saying they're using this to take away our freedoms, and they are, and they are. And sometimes you have to wonder. We don't want to go there, but sometimes you have to wonder: is this violence happening? Is Trump actually behind it? So he can take away our freedoms. Is he behind it? I don't think he would be, but you just never know. I can't put anything past this monster, this fascist, orange, big monster. He's a monster. He's the closest thing I've ever seen to Satan in my life. All right. Um, but this is what we're going through in this country right now. Oh, yeah, this is what we're going through. So we are living in a dictatorship. We are not living in a free country because we don't have freedom of press anymore. And shame on you, ABC. You know what? I'm going to say this. Man, let's just keep it clean, all right? But ABC, you should be ashamed of yourself. Um, ABC, you are disgraceful. Uh, you have to, really, ABC is just sold itself to the devil, all right? So that's what they've done. They've sold themselves to the devil. But I know they're going to people come on here and say, oh, you're wrong. Trump is good. Trump is going to help us. Blah, blah, blah. Trump's going to get the costs down. The costs haven't gone down. They've gone up. Trump hasn't done a damn thing to improve this country. All he's doing is driving us further and further apart. And the sooner we get this person out of office and behind bars where he belongs, the sooner we can heal this country. But so far at the congressional level, there's no. I'm glad that there are some Republicans speaking out, but we need more Republicans speaking out. All right? It doesn't mean we get a Democratic president if we impeach Donald Trump. We get J.D. Vance. All right? But at this point, J.D. Vance would be better than what we got right now. All right? J.D. Vance was not MAGA before Trump came along. And maybe once Trump is behind bars, he'll be back to being a regular Republican again. All right? And the last thing I'm going to address, and again, in this time of electing crazy politicians, all right, we go from one crazy politician on the right to a crazy politician on the left, and that's Zohran Mamdani. All right, where I'm going to talk about this as well. When the mayoral primary happened, I wanted to see Scott Stringer or Brad Lander become the mayoral nominee. All right, none of that did not happen. Unfortunately, they, by and large, chose Zohran Mamdani. And of course, there was a lot of hate for Cuomo, and I kind of understand it. I do. Look, I'm somebody who criticized Cuomo a lot. Um, but honestly, right now, the way I feel is that Andrew Cuomo is the best choice that we have for the governor of New York City. What's the problem with Zohran Mamdani? Well, let's start with his anti-police rhetoric. Oh, he says he's not like that anymore. But a couple of years ago, he's against the police. You think crime is bad now with Eric Adams? It's going to get so much worse with Zohran Mamdani. He said it. He wants to put soup kitchens and food pantries in the subway. Just imagine how much worse the homeless problem is going to get. The guy is a socialist. He's going to drive businesses out of New York. He's going to drive people out of New York City. And what's going to happen is all those people are going to come to Long Island and make this even a more expensive place to live already. And the crime is going to get a lot worse. He gets in. And he kept saying, well, I'm going to freeze the rent. The mayor does not have the power to freeze the rent. Zohran Mamdani is young. He's inexperienced. He's making promises that he can't keep. He's living a fantasy. And I know at least one of my friends supported him. I'm sorry that we're going to disagree here. But the crime is going to get a lot worse, and he's very inexperienced. He's going to be way in over his head. And Trump is going to eat him for breakfast, I'm telling you. So, I mean, as the fat bastard would say, he kind of looks like a baby. Come here, I'm gonna eat ya. So, uh, Mondami is going to be a disaster, and also he's anti-Semitic. He's made anti-Semitic comments in the past. Yeah, look. I am not somebody who's a fan of Benjamin Netanyahu at all. He's a lot like Trump, but he threatened to have Netanyahu arrested if he entered New York City. Um, this is the kind of rhetoric that we have. So we are just electing lunatics to our government right now. All right. So I'm urging the people of New York City, don't make the mistake of voting for Zohran Mondami. I know Cuomo is a bit of a pain, but he's the only one with the experience to keep the city from falling apart completely. All the other choices out there, the city will fall apart, especially with Mondami. But people just don't see it. Mondami is a slick. He reminds me of a car salesman. Very slick, very slick. But you vote him in, you fell for it, just like you fell for Trump, and you're going to regret it big time. All right. And lastly, I'll just speak about New Jersey, a place I don't want to wind up having to go live. But Jack Chiarelli is awful. I was not a fan of Mikey Sherrill. I was disappointed that Steve Phillip did not win the primary. Mikey Sherrill was kind of preppy. She's got that, you know, but but she does have some experience in Congress. She's not inexperienced. Um, Jack likes to paint her as inexperienced, but she has plenty of experience in Congress and as a Navy helicopter pilot, which does mean that she knows how to fight back against people like Donald Trump. Um, Jack is a MAGA, 100% MAGA. There's a lot of things about him. 10%. He's going to destroy NJ Transit. He's going to destroy the state of New Jersey. Jack Chiarelli is an intolerable, arrogant SOB. All right. You see the way he conducts himself. He makes Bruce Blakeman look peaceful. He's like Bruce Blakeman on steroids, that guy. All right. So, no, just say no to Jack Chiarelli if you live in New Jersey. So I just wanted to share some of these election political thoughts. I think the sun is going to try to come back out again so I can hopefully get out there and start taking some pictures again. But I am very upset about what's happening to our country right now. All right. We have lost our minds. All right. Um, let's just get back to the center. All right. And get our country back on the right track, away from all this extremism, please. All right. Um, that's all I'm going to say. Um, but whenever you have an opinion, always express it peacefully. There is no place for violence in this country. We'll say it over and over again. Political violence is something that happens in banana republics. That should not be happening here. But I'm afraid we're going to see more of it. And that's what exactly Trump wants to see it, so he can take away more of our freedoms and centralize more and more of our power. We can't have it that way. That's why we've got to remove Trump from office. We've got to do it legally through Congress. Because honestly, we can't afford. We haven't even gotten through a whole year of him, I can't imagine what 3 more years are going to do to this country. We have to start working, demanding our elected officials remove Donald Trump from power. That is all. Thank you for watching. God bless America. Pray for peace, and let's hope we get things back on the right track. Thank you for watching.